Good morning, televiewers of My Media Prime Television, and welcome to this other edition of The Brief, live on My Media Prime Television, a program where we get to dig several layers beneath the major headlines as related by newspapers in the country. In this edition of the program, the newspapers are focusing on the directives of President Paul Biya in resolving the plights of teachers in Cameroon, the teachers who are observing sit-in strike action as a result of dues owed them by the government of the Republic of Cameroon. We are told that the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, is also instructing regional governors to continue dialoguing with the striking teachers. And also in the newspaper, we are told that over 3,223 schools are not operational in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon as a result of the ongoing socio-political upheaval in the country. And also a report that has been published by IMF is a disturbing report, according to some newspapers, as the deplorable Babaju Bamenda stretch of road does not feature in government's priority projects for the year 2022. The televiewers, Bomotonguina, Gwladys is here with us. Let's find out what she gathered in the French newspapers. Bonjour Gwladys.
Bonjour Lasha.
Joyeux anniversaire.
Merci beaucoup. Effectivement, merci beaucoup. Bonjour à vous et merci de nous retrouver une fois de plus pour Débrief, votre émission bilingue de revue de presse sur My Media Prime Télévision. Alors, effectivement, ce jour, la presse francophone est meublée par la grève des enseignants et par le délestage au Cameroun. Alors, ce matin, nous allons débuter avec le journal Le Jour qui nous parle de la colère des maîtres. Qu'est-ce qui a causé la colère des maîtres au Cameroun? De toutes les façons, le mouvement TCT Trop c'est trop a été déclenché par les enseignants de l'éducation de base. Le reportage à Yaoundé, Douala, Bertois et Gaoundéré, Marois et Garoua sont donc en page 2 et 3 de ce journal. En page 4, le journal nous parle de l'intronisation du nouveau roi d'Aqua. Nous restons toujours dans le journal Le Jour qui parle effectivement du délestage au Cameroun, la question du barrage de Mainville. Nous continuons, mesdames, messieurs, ce matin avec le journal L'Info à chaud qui nous parle des revendications des enseignants qui a fabriqué le variant républicain des OTS. La question est donc posée et la réponse se trouve en page 3 de ce journal. En page 4, le journal nous parle du match Algérie-Cameroun. L'Algérie conteste le choix de l'arbitre botswanais. Nous restons toujours dans le journal L'Info à chaud qui nous parle en page 6 du suicide d'une femme enceinte qui s'est jetée dans le fleuve Vouri. Mesdames, Messieurs, nous poursuivons ce matin avec le journal L'Information, lui aussi qui nous parle du mouvement OTS, on a trop supporté contre le gouvernement. Dialogue en agonie, tel est intitulé le grand titre de ce papier. Les menaces et autres actes de répression sur les enseignants dans les établissements scolaires sont de nature à plomber le dialogue engagé et poursuivi par le gouvernement en vue de la résolution des problèmes soulevés dont les causes sont connues et les responsables identifiés. Les détails sont donc en page 5 et 9 de ce journal. En page 10, le journal nous parle du tournoi de rugby 2022, qualification à la CAN. Les Lions rugissent donc au Burundi. Nous continuons, mesdames, messieurs, ce matin avec le journal Mutation, lui qui nous parle en grand titre du délestage au Cameroun. Comment est-ce que survivent les petites entreprises, les petits métiers face à ces délestages récurrents au Cameroun? Les détails sont donc en page 4 et 5 de ce journal. En page 15, le journal nous parle du championnat Elite One au Cameroun, le démarrage qui aura donc lieu à Bouddha et la rage est donc à Garoua. Nous terminons, mesdames, messieurs, ce matin avec le journal L'économie quotidien qui nous parle de protection sociale. La Banque mondiale débloque donc plus de 96 milliards de francs CFA en faveur du Cameroun. Suivant cette institution financière, plus de 217 500 personnes déplacées internes vont bénéficier de ce financement. Les détails sont donc en page 3 de ce journal. En page 4, le journal nous parle du Silicon Mountain de Boya. Le gouvernement offre un an de connexion au débit à Transit Start-up. Mesdames, messieurs, c'est ici que nous nous arrêtons pour ces titres en langue française. Place à la découverte de ces titres en langue anglaise avec toi, Lasha.
Thank you, Bomotonguina, Gwladys, and happy birthday once again. Thank you for joining us, televiewers of My Media Prime Television. Let's kickstart this morning with the Herald Tribune news paper. The Herald Tribune is focusing on the directives of President Paul Biya when it comes to quenching the plights of teachers in the country. Teachers strike. Biya gives firm directives for immediate payment of accrued debt. Minabos on its part, or on his part, Paul Atanganji instructs governors to continue dialogue with teachers, and the paper is telling us that it is just a matter of days and the teachers in Cameroon who have been receiving just 2/3 of their salaries will begin having their full salary. This includes teachers with or without integration decisions or matricule number. It is part of a decision taken by President Paul Biya, head of state of Cameroon, to appease teachers who have been on a sit-down strike action for over 3 weeks counting. More details on page 4 of this edition of the Herald Tribune newspaper. Enforcing, or governors begin enforcing government's ban on shisha in the country. The Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, has ordered governors nationwide to enforce government's decision banning shisha in Cameroon. The instruction is the content of a message addressed to the 10 regional governors of the country by Minister Paul Atanganji recently. The ban comes after a study on samples of shisha by the National Drug Control Committee revealed that the substance was dangerous to health. West Governor Awa Fonka Augustine, according to the paper, recently issued an order instructing his collaborators at the level of the divisions and the subdivisions to enforce the order, and those who fail to abide by the decision be dealt with according to the laws of the Republic of Cameroon. We stay with the Herald Tribune newspaper to talk about what is happening at the Catholic University Institute of Buea. Bishop Bibi exposes thievery men in Kasok, accuses Reverend Father Keze of colluding to rob the Catholic University Institute of Buea with some money, or some sum of money, and equally save a 50 million disappears from Catholic University Institute of Buea account, and other shady deals exposed by the bishop. And you can get more details on pages 5 through 7 of this edition of the Herald Tribune newspaper, talking about what is happening at the Catholic University Institute in Buea, chief town of the southwest region of Cameroon. We continue with the Herald Tribune newspaper to talk about civil-military cooperation, where General Nsah Valet congratulates a population of Zao that carries out free health campaign in that part of the country. The free campaign, according to the paper, if there is one thing that the military has intensified in doing in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon for long-lasting peace to return, it is the civil-military cooperation that has continued to grow day after day. To this effect, the commander of the 5th Joint Military Region, Brigadier General Nsah Valet, has returned from the military headquarters in Bamenda after visiting Menchun Division, where he carried out a series of military donations in that part of the country. Brigadier General Nsah Valet in Menchun Division assesses the security situation to fill in the gaps for total normalcy to return to the division. Let's leave the Herald Tribune newspaper. We are with municipal updates, which is interested in stabilizing global economic shocks. This time around, the paper is focusing on prioritizing made-in Cameroon products, which, according to the paper, is inevitable. And we stay with municipal updates to talk about this move taken by the Bilingualism Commission of Peter Mafani Musonge to fight hate speech and misinformation as well as disinformation in the country. We are told that the commission has partnered with French envoy to commit to counter the said vices across the national territory. We are with the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post is describing a recent report published by IMF as scandalous, as the report revealed that Bamenda Babaju route not amongst government's 2022 priority projects. The paper is explaining further that government has, despite endless promises made to the suffering population of the Northwest and Southwest region, or the Northwest region rather, not included the tarring of the deplorable Bamenda Babaju stretch of route in its list of 2022 priority projects. The disturbing development, which has watered down all hopes of the population, is contained in a 148-page report published recently. That was on the 11th of March 2022 by the Executive Board of the International Monetary Fund, and the report revealed that the Babaju Bamenda stretch of road is not in government's 2022 priority projects in the country. And also talking about Anglophone crisis over there in the Northwest, a report has revealed that over 3,223 schools are not operational in the Northwest and Southwest regions of Cameroon. The UN report, which was published on 10 March 2022 by the Office of the Coordination of the Humanitarian Affairs of the United Nations, OCHA, and it reveals that over 3,200 schools in the restive northwest regions of the country as well as southwest is not operational. OCHA in the report said out of 5,724 primary and secondary schools in the two English-speaking regions, over 3,200 are not functional as a result of the armed conflict raging on in those two English-speaking regions of the country. Thank you for watching television as we are back in the studio to continue with our discussions this morning. We are going straight to Yaoundé to meet the Communications Secretary to the Popular Action Party of Nsah, Dennis. Mbane Elvis is joining us from Yaoundé. Good morning, Elvis, and welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Lasha. Good morning to Gwladys, and happy birthday to her. Good morning to all viewers of my media.
Let's begin with these disturbing reports published by IMF, which revealed recently that the Bamenda Babaju stretch of road is not in government list of priority projects for 2022. What do you have to say to that, Elvis?
The only thing I can say with respect to that is that if you want to link the Bamenda Babaju stretch of road to the Bamenda Ring Road, then you will understand that it is not just a matter for 2022, but that since the past 30 years, that road has never been on government's priority projects because we know how the system functions, we know where that road is leading to, and we know that that part of the country has never been a priority to this regime in whatsoever way. So, like I always say, it can always just be a shock to those who have denied to understand it. Like me, it doesn't surprise me that that road can never be a priority to this regime. I even fear that it will never be this regime that will have to, should I say, construct that road as far as the people of the Northwest are concerned in this country.
But the Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph Diongute, was in Bamenda during his peace tour of the region, and he made mention of construction works to resume on that stretch of route immediately as he goes back to Yaoundé. I'm afraid, like many other people, do you share the opinion that somebody somewhere is blocking the construction of that stretch of route or the rehabilitation of that route?
Nobody is blocking any rehabilitation. The regime itself is blocking its own project.
Are you telling me that the Prime Minister will make such a... Are you saying that the Prime Minister of the Republic of Cameroon, who happens to be the head of government, will make such a statement, a public statement?
He's the minister in this country. When Mr. Edgard himself promised the ring road 30 years back and said he was going to personally supervise it, and the road has never been dug. So who is the prime minister to promise something and we expect that it's going to happen? So Mr. Lasha, like I said, it is not someone blocking, but just that the regime has always thought that they will continue giving people promises that they will never fulfill, to think that they can hypnotize with promises and then things continue to move the way they want them to move. I have said, and I will keep repeating it, that as far as the road is going to benefit the people of the Northwest, it has never been a priority to this government, and I fear it shall never be a priority. So our people should stop hoping and dreaming that that road will be constructed as far as this regime is concerned. So it's not a matter of the Prime Minister promising. He himself promised the ring road 30 years ago and said he was personally going to supervise it. What is the road to today? So if the head himself can promise and not fulfill, who is the Prime Minister? So it's the system, it's not a matter of somebody. And if someone, like you say, was somewhere blocking the road, I want to think that someone is part of the system and they should know at what level the file is and who is blocking the file. They should be able to remove that person from there and hand the file to some other competent persons. But if for 30 years roads are promised and then someone is blocking and they cannot identify the persons blocking, then you understand that it's a regime that has failed woefully and it's a total mess as far as we are concerned. We rather just regret to have a regime like this one having to lead this country.
Okay, before I get to Gwladys to ask you her question, a recent report of the United Nations revealed that over 3,223 primary and secondary schools are not operational in the Northwest and Southwest. Out of the total number of 5,000 plus schools, over 3,000 are not operational. What is sad news?
Again, Mr. Lasha, I would say it is quite regrettable, but I still say here, you know, I always say the regime we have in place has the yam and the knife. The war has gotten to a level where children no longer go to school. It's true, we blame both the arms fighters and the regime in place, but we say that if this government had, for once, had listened to calls from Cameroonians and other partners that there should be some genuine dialogue, perhaps the number of schools that are operational should have increased. And unfortunately, they have denied any form of inclusive dialogue, opting for their military or preferring a military option as a way to resolve the political crisis we have in that part of the country. And I rather say it's very, very unfortunate. But I think that it is still just one of the plans of the system, because we see with the schools that are closed, many parents have transferred their children to the French-speaking part of the country so that you can perhaps continue with their assimilation process. You can imagine, for instance, that our fundoms and children have transferred. Today you see funds receiving people in their palaces in Yaoundé, which is rather very, very it's a sickening situation.
It sounds funny.
It's part of the system in place by the regime to continue.
It sounds funny. How can a palace be transferred to Yaoundé? How can a palace be transferred to Yaoundé? It sounds funny. Plus the shrine, the transfer.
Am I saying something that is new to you? We see funds who receive it in their palaces in Yaoundé. They will announce the fund of maybe a certain village in the Northwest in the palace in Yaoundé. I don't understand how that happens, but like I said, it's very, very unfortunate. Take note, every single community now in the Northwest or Southwest has a wonderful palace in Yaoundé, or at least a wonderful community or cultural hall that they have constructed this way, instead of constructing these things back there in our own regions. People have now come this way. We even see institutions that we knew of and we respected transferring all of their equipment and infrastructure to the French-speaking part of the country. I think it is a continuation, a process that is continuing the assimilation of our people, and it's something to regret. And I would rather simply just call on our people to be very, very vigilant, and that's why I blame those of our brothers who have been fueling the war back there in the Northwest and the Southwest, actually defending the people they claim they were actually out to defend, but rather worsening the situation and degrading our educational system, our culture, and every other thing. Okay. I don't just blame the government. We ourselves, we are to blame for what is happening to us in this country today.
Okay.
Alors, Mbane Elvis, la grève des enseignants au jour d'aujourd'hui, le dialogue est asphyxié, tel que reporté par le journal L'Information Hebdo, et ce parce que les enseignants sont menacés dans les établissements.
Mais c'est tout à fait normal comme menace des enseignants. Vous savez, nous sommes dans un système où on n'a jamais voulu écouter et entendre les problèmes des uns des autres et les résoudre comme il se doit. On pense toujours que ce n'est pas la menace qu'on va résoudre les problèmes. Voilà pourquoi je tire un coup de chapeau, par exemple, à la ministre, madame le ministre de l'enseignement secondaire, parce qu'au moins, elle a été honnête de reconnaître que les enseignants ont un problème et qu'il faut à tout prix qu'on résolve ce problème-là. Mais sauf que ces collaborateurs pensent toujours que nous sommes dans l'époque coloniale où on ne fonctionne qu'avec le bâton et tant que vous ne le faites pas, on vous menace. Mais l'État menace les enseignants d'aller en classe. Comme j'ai lu quelque part, je ne sais pas si c'est vrai ou pas, que le ministre a dit que c'est un contrat et qu'on ne peut que vous payer par rapport au travail fait. Mais les gens ont travaillé pendant 10 ans, vous n'avez pas payé. Donc on fait comment de l'État? On les amène au tribunal ou bien on fait comment? Donc malheureusement, c'est ça le régime de M. Biafore, où on pense que quand vous avez des doléances, vous restez tranquille, vous ne devez pas vous plaindre parce que dès que vous essayez de, disons, présenter vos doléances, on vient plus avec les menaces. J'ai suivi tout à l'heure. On disait dans certains journaux qu'on demande au gouverneur de continuer à lever le dialogue avec les enseignants. Je ne vois pas ce que le gouverneur a à faire avec les enseignants. Que les ministres concernés et les chefs d'État parlent aux enseignants et qu'ils trouvent des solutions adéquates à leurs problèmes. Ce n'est pas le gouverneur, parce que pour moi, envoyer le gouverneur et le sous-préfet, c'est d'aller menacer les enseignants. Et ça ne peut pas donner.
Okay, Elvis, and the health workers too are joining. They say they too have over-supported the regime. Just imagine we are getting to a very dangerous sector, the sector that we should not play with, the health sector.
It is not just a matter of the health sector that is a dangerous sector, or as you call it, or risky, as you say. In Cameroon, Mr. Lasha, we should be honest with ourselves as Cameroonians. There is no sector in this country that moves well. There is no sector that functions well. People have been living in abject poverty and worst of all in fear. I always say there is what I call a passive dictatorship in this country, where they have succeeded in instilling fear in Cameroonians such that people have worries but they cannot express themselves for fear that they will either be beaten or imprisoned or whatsoever thing. But gradually we are getting to a point where people now feel like it's better they talk and they die. You may continue threatening them instead of solving their problems. You may continue trying to sandpaper over the cracks, but don't be surprised that sooner or later you find every other sector in this country going out there to reivindicate what is theirs, and of course, which are all legitimate.
Okay, Elvis, thank you very much for taking our time to join us this morning on The Brief, My Media Prime Television. Hopefully we'll be with you some other time. Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you to televiewers on My Media Prime Television for watching this other edition of the program produced for us by Johnson Vola. We were Bomotonguina, Gwladys, and myself, Lasha Kingsley. Bye-bye. Tomorrow is another day.